Hello and welcome to Zero Cool Gaming and today's long play of Reckoning with commentary. And today I'm going to be talking about a game called Space Marine. Now, of all the different Space Marine games I've ever played, or I shouldn't say Space Marine, of all the different Warhammer games I've ever played, this is one that I've actually enjoyed. I played a couple of the Space Hulk games, and I didn't enjoy them, truly. They weren't my type of game. As far as the RTS games, and there's a lot of them, like Dawn of War and Battlefleet Gothic Armada, I never had any interest in playing those games. I have watched them be played, all of them actually. I enjoyed the stories that went along with it, but not the actual gameplay. The Martyr, Inquisitor Martyr, or something like that. Or just Martyr, about the ship called Martyr. That one was one that I might play one day. I actually got another one, I can't remember the name of it. It is an RTS-like game, but it's a simple RTS. It has to do with, I think it's called Mechanicus. I think that's actually what it's called. And I bought that one. I don't have a Switch to play it, but I did buy it. So I have a game, but not the console I need to play it on. It's an odd thing. I'll eventually probably get a Switch just because of all the different games that are on it. And there's years of games that I am willing to play, regardless of the new ones that I'm not. So eventually that's something that I will get. But one of the things that I liked about Space Marine was that it was a third-person action adventure, Warhammer 40k game, and that in and of itself is a little different from the other games that they produced.
Captain Titus, the Orcs have massacred the Forge World's forces. and they have taken the planetary defense weapons.
Clever of the damned orcs. Keeps us off their backs while they loot the Titan war machines.
Brace for evasive maneuvers.
Pilot, report!
Starboard engine is dead, Sergeant. We're losing altitude.
Get the ship to safety and find another way down.
Aye, Captain. Thunderhawk Lancer Jones returning to launch bay.
This is your plan.
We need to get to the surface to take out the gun battery.
I mean, one of the games that I played was actually a game. How do I explain this? It was similar as a third-person action RPG. You know, it was. It was Warhammer, you know, Space Hulk. It was a third-person action RPG, but I didn't enjoy the RPG elements to it. I didn't. There was a lot about that game that I just didn't like. And I picked this one up because a friend of mine had the game. And knowing what type of games that I did play and enjoyed, he's like, you'll probably enjoy this one. And he says it's not like the rest of the games that they've developed. And of course he had it. And he wanted me to play it. And I was like, well, how long is the game? And he was like, it's, you know, probably 10, 15 hours to get through it. And I was like, yeah, I'm not staying here at your house all day to do that, so. And he booted it up and started it for me. And I watched the intro and watched him play through the very first section of it where you land on this orc ship. And, you know, you take out some orcs, you take out the ship and crash land on the planet's surface. And I was like, yeah, that looks like something I might enjoy. Of course, I couldn't be positive because I never played the game, but it looked like something I would enjoy. There was no real RPG elements to it. You do collect things along the game that will increase the abilities that you gain or have and make them a little stronger, a little better, you know, last a little longer, that sort of thing. You do collect weapons in the game that are more powerful as you go through. And the same thing with your melee weapons. You collect more and more powerful melee weapons as you go through the game. All of that I enjoyed. I enjoyed the sections where you collected your jump pack and you used it to traverse the terrain.
Get off my ship, Space Marine! You're gonna die!
through that particular level, or section of a level. So all of that I enjoyed. I had no problems with any of it, to be quite honest with you. So what is Space Marine about? Well, it starts out where this planet gets invaded by orcs. And the powers that be deem this planet something that should be saved, because this is one of the only planets left that can assemble and create the parts for Titans, which is something becoming extremely rare in this universe. And there's lots of reasons for that. I mean, I could go into all the lore, how they, humans lost their knowledge of technology and currently essentially worship the technology that they have, but have no real understanding of it, and depend on ancient builds of technology to provide them with their weapons of war. But should they lose any of those through planetary invasions, things like that, it's essentially permanently lost because they can't recreate it. So it's an interesting concept, to say the least. And like I said, this particular planet was actually still capable of creating Titans, and the Imperium of Man did not want to They didn't want to lose this excuse me. They didn't want to lose this particular planet and the abilities that the manufactorium within it had. So they chose to fight for it. It's a decent premise, decent enough anyway. I didn't have any problems with it. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty cool, even though a lot of it, had some serious problems. It wasn't anything that and when I say serious problems, what I mean by that was this game would shut down on you occasionally. It didn't do like hard resets, but it would just shut off for no apparent reason. And that was kind of irritating. Of course, that was on the PC version that I had. But it wasn't that bad. I mean, I'd played worse games that did it more often than this one. So it was tolerable.
thought we were done for. Where is your commander, guardsman?
Inside, but the door is sealed.
I believe they will let us through. Imperial Guard, we are Ultramarines. Open this door.
Space Marines.
Like I said, certainly not the worst game I'd ever played. But back to the game. So, like I said, the Space Marines arrive to take the planet back from the Orc invaders. And the first thing that they notice is that the Orcs are using the planetary defense to shoot down incoming vessels from the Imperium, or the reinforcements that the Imperium has sent here to defend this planet. And this Captain Titus and his two Space Marine, brothers in arms, not actual brothers. He decides that they're going to jump from the vessel that they're in with their jump packs and head toward the surface of the planet.
Now to stop this ram! Time to impact!
No more than 6 minutes.
Basically they want to not necessarily retake the planet by themselves, but they want to get to the surface as quickly as possible so that they can disable the planetary defense systems and stop their ships and friends and reinforcements from being destroyed in the process. So it's a decent premise. So they like I said, he jumps onto one of these Orc ships and he takes it down, and it ends up on the surface. He's separated from his other two Marines. One of his first missions is to reestablish contact with them and basically get them back into his squad so that they can continue their mission of saving this world. And he works on that, and eventually they reunite. And shortly after reuniting, they
The whole room is coming down!
Sidonus, Leandros, respond.
Captain, the Inquisitor insisted you could not have survived.
Well, I did, and I have his precious power source.
We set a rendezvous in Hab Center Andris. These tunnels will spit us out there eventually.
Fine. Continue heading toward the Hab Center.
end up making contact with a lady who's currently in command of the ground forces still left on the planet, as the rest of the I guess you could say a military command other than her has essentially been destroyed or dead, or however you want to put that. And of course they need to rectify that problem. Try to get the remaining forces that are on the planet to work together with each other to protect what remains of this planet. Wow. That sucks. And she tells them that, there's a command base so far ahead of them where she's located, and they head there. They have a short talk with her. They defend the base against... this is like your first mini-boss in the game. It's a more powerful orc. He has some armor on him. And he's bigger than the others, I mean, obviously. He is a mini-boss after all.
Come in, Lieutenant. Valkyrie 2 is down. I require immediate transport.
We're on approach, Captain.
Now, shortly after their rendezvous with the lieutenant, they get a distress call from an Inquisitor that's on the planet. And they head toward his last known location to enact a rescue. And they eventually find the Inquisitor, and he informs them that he's been working on a secret weapon that would be capable of eradicating all of the orcs on the planet, basically all at the same time. He explains to him that this weapon that he's developed is essentially a genetic weapon that will target the orcs genetically, and leave all of them dead, while at the same time leaving all the humans on the planet alive.
Just a few defenses. What comprises a few, Inquisitor?
Servo turrets, mostly.
Set to eliminate orcs?
Set to eliminate anything with the misfortune to move within their range.
Lockdown in effect.
Sentry guns ahead.
So obviously this weapon is, completely secret, and it's under, whatever secrecy rules that the Imperium apply to such things. And of course the Space Marines, upon hearing this, are like, well, great, you know, we have a way to save this planet with, you know, minimal losses to the manufactorium that is wanting to be saved here. So they begin their quest to go after a power source that the Inquisitor needs to power up his device that they believe is going to achieve these ends. It's based on a lie, obviously, but, you know, it's a decent enough story. So they go to the power facility that's located under the manufactorium.
Why didn't it work?
Damn that Drogon! Never trust the Inquisition!
Stand fast, Ultramarines. We can handle a few orcs.
Space Marine! Was that supposed to hurt?
Demons! How is this possible?
Ah! Ha-ha! You got new friends now, Space Marine!
And they get attacked by some more orcs and the orc war boss that initiated this invasion of the planet. And there's another little, like, mini boss fight that occurs there. And eventually they retrieve this power core. And the Inquisitor basically accuses Titus of being corrupted by warp because the power supply is essentially a warped charged piece of material. And it uses the power of the warp itself in order to create energy. And, you know, no normal human or even space marine should have been able to survive exposure to it. And at this point, one of his, Leonidas, one of the space marines, also accuses him of being warp corrupted, or chaos corrupted. But he's not willing to take action in that respect against his commanding officer for these beliefs. He's just willing to believe that the Inquisitor and what the Inquisitor is telling him is true.
Inquisitor! Get back! Drogon!
I have served you well, Lord Nimrod.
Traitor.
So they end up going to this weapon and they put the power supply into the weapon. and the Inquisitor fires it, but instead of killing all of the orcs, it opens a warp gate. And chaos starts pouring onto the planet. And,
Go in there and see for your damn self. I won't stop you.
you know, they go through the little fight with chaos. It's not a very long fight, but they fight their way through chaos to this chaos commander. And when they find the chaos commander, it's revealed that the Inquisitor is an agent of chaos himself, having been killed by some sort of warp being earlier, shortly after he put out his come rescue me message.
I'm surprised the place is standing at all.
How can we face them? The legions of chaos.
Trooper, get yourself together right now!
Yes, Mom.
The other platoons are going to fall back towards the bastion. Hold this position, or they'll be cut off. Greetings, Ultramarines.
What is your situation, Lieutenant?
As well as can be hoped, considering we are surrounded on all sides by the enemy horde.
We're heading back to the command post, Captain.
And, he kneels before the Chaos Lord, and the Chaos Lord absorbs him. And upon doing so, he learns all of the knowledge that the Inquisitor had. And now the Chaos Lord wants the power supply so that he can morph into a demon prince. And they escape that initial situation, and they decide that what they're going to do is they're going to go back to the Titan that they had already prevented the orcs from scavenging, power it up with this device, and use it to close the warp gate. And at this point in the game, you're fighting both orcs and chaos along the way. So it's kind of interesting. I wouldn't say it's, the most fun thing that I've actually done. And one of the reasons that it's kind of not fun is because it's easy to die. Like, really easy to die in this level of the game. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But basically it amounts to the fact that you're constantly shifting between melee and long-range fighting, and you have to learn that delicate balance between the two, or this game will just slaughter you indiscriminately and relatively quickly.
I ain't finished with you yet, Space Marine! But I am finished with you, Orc. The damned orc is dead.
Finally, some good news.
This rail line will take us directly to the Titan Manufactorum.
The faster the better. Those orcs slowed us down.
And gave Nemeroff time to prepare his invasion. We must get to the Titan and destroy that warp gate.
Eventually they make it to the Titan. And they power it up. And they use the weapons on the Titan to destroy the warp gate. And then Titus decides that he's going to go destroy this Chaos Lord, because shortly after they destroy the warp gate, the Chaos Lord ends up stealing the power supply so that he can advance himself, and he did that by killing the sergeant. And you know, Chaos killing his sergeant kind of upset Titus, to say the least. He didn't really like the
That's done it, Titus.
But Nemeroth and his demon host still roam free.
Though he is trapped on this world.
And all the more desperate to recover the power source. We must get it to safety, old friend.
Good news on that front. Lieutenant Mirror reports that the Liberation Fleet has entered the system. The Inquisition will surely have sent agents with the fleet, Captain. Perhaps we can return the device to them.
The Inquisition has already failed to stop its exploitation by Chaos. No one must use the device, Leandros, ever again. Contact Lieutenant Mira, and have her divert a Valkyrie here to pick us up.
Yes, Captain.
I suppose putting a bolt around through that damnable power source is out of the question.
Too risky. We could open another warp gate, for all we know. Upon our return to Macragge, I will confide it to the chapter master and his librarians.
And until then?
My most trusted brother will bring it to our strike cruiser and seal it in the armory.
Yeah, he didn't really like the fact that that happened. Of course, Leonardus continues to believe that Titus is becoming more and more Chaos infected, and by this point he thinks that he has no intentions of killing the Chaos Lord, but intends to join him. Truly, this young Marine is twisted in the wrong ways. Whoever trained him didn't train him properly. But yeah, he goes after the Chaos Lord, and in doing so, the Chaos Lord gets pretty upset about it, tells him he can't win, you know, this sort of thing. Normal chaosy stuff, you know. And they have a battle that
Look there, Ultramarine. You have saved this world. I see that Ultramarines are human, after all.
More than you know, Lieutenant.
Inquisition is here.
Titus eventually, you know, wins. It's kind of like one of those quick time events where you have a fight and you have to hit buttons at the right time in order to advance through the quick time event. The end result is, of course, Titus wins, and then as he's falling to the earth, he gets captured or caught by a plane and then brought to the earth. Lands and whatnot, rather than being killed in the fall. And then shortly after that, another Inquisitor lands on the planet and takes him into custody, and that's kind of where it ends. So all in all, it's a pretty good little story. I mean, there's quite a bit to it, but the game doesn't get really difficult till the end of it, once Chaos is released. And then it's just a matter of balancing your long-range and short-range combat in such a way that you don't die. And that takes a little bit of finesse and learning in order to do that. But once you learn the rhythm to it, it's a relatively easy game to get through. It's just learning that rhythm and then keeping up with it and not allowing yourself to get shot to death while you have melee opponents in close proximity to you.
His injuries appear chaos inflicted. You are certain of this charge?
Captain Titus has been corrupted by Chaos, Inquisitor Thrax.
I am no heretic!
You lie! Only an agent of Chaos could withstand such warp exposure.
I sent the demon to oblivion.
But did you have unholy assistance? We must know. You will submit to my authority, Captain, or the Inquisition must conclude that you have corrupted every Ultramarine under your command, not to mention those who stand at your side.
Ignore his threats. Come on.
The Inquisition will destroy you, Mira, and the Ultramarines will be forever dishonored. Leave my brothers and the Lieutenant alone. I will come with you.
That's my review of Space Marine. It is a fun game. I enjoyed most of it. There's just parts of it that are a little difficult to get through. And like I said, it's just a matter of learning the rhythm of that area. When you should be firing long range at your enemies and switching between weapons. And when you should be doing short range attacks and avoiding the shots coming at you. But other than that, it's just a good action adventure, third person action adventure game. Set in the universe of Warhammer 40k. Alright, so that'll be my rant for the day. I hope that you enjoy the rest of yours. If you could hit the like, subscribe, rumble, follow buttons, all that does help. And I'll talk to you later.